Okay, Dr. Randy Short just received my message and responded, so he's on his way.
It's been a wild goose chase.
Yeah, I know. I am so sorry about that, but this one is recording, and I know Michael's
Can you hear
having
me?
some problems. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Oh boy, can you hear me?
Yeah, we. All right.
Are you using a Are you using like a headset, Dewan? Because it seems like it's like your connection. It's like it seems like you have must be wearing like a headset or something.
Nah, I'm just on my phone. I ain't got no headset. I ain't using no Bluetooth. Uh,
Hmm.
I'm going straight into my phone. If we can get if Dr. Randy Short can get to cooking, I can shut up.
Yeah. Yeah, he's on his way. He just said that he got it, so he's on his way.
Okay, as long as y'all can hear Dr. Randy Short, man, I don't care.
Yeah, we can hear him, and it's just okay. Yeah, see, Michael can't record anyway, so we got to do it this way.
All right, cool. Yeah, we got the record. We got the record on. That's fine. Yeah, it's been a wild goose chase, y'all. My bad.
They don't want us to hold these spaces, do they?
No, they don't. They really don't. They really don't want us having these spaces because we're talking about something that's constructive, and they have a major issue with constructive black people. If we were talking about midget wrestling, it wouldn't be none of this going on. It'd be all kinds of elbow drops off the first rope. If we was talking about, if we was over here talking about, how to put cakes up on your black skin, how to become, how to go from Wesley Snipes to Albie Shore in one fell swoop, we wouldn't be having none of these issues. If we was over here talking about, if we was talking like Cynthia G was talking on the episode of Foxhole that I did, that black men ain't nothing, and all black women need to go ahead and marry redhead white men, then it'll be man, we'll be coming in crystal clear. Like this audio connection to be sound better. It'll sound more clear and crisp than the Thriller album if we was talking about that. But nah, we want to talk about constructive things for black people, and they want to treat us like stepchildren. That's the problem. See, I swear to God, man, if we was talking about Jamaicans created hip hop and Fat Joe can use the N word, then we wouldn't be having none of these issues. Dr. Short, you there?
Yes. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm a back out. I'm the one having the connection issue, so y'all go ahead. I'm just gonna shut up.
Well, where do you want us to start off from?
You were talking about you were talking about the Queen.
Okay.
And you were talking about her not having us having more royal blood than her. You can go.
Right. And I'm going to add one more layer to this. We didn't stage these issues with Twitter. Anybody listening to this? And between the time that you heard my voice last, I just got a letter. One of my partners is trying to take down the state of Mississippi over them poisoning our people in Jackson. And he called to complain that he couldn't send text to me. They're blocking him from text to me because when people listen to your phone, they know I want to share it with a couple of people. So they know what you do on your phone. Not that I care, but they do things to irritate, to frustrate, to stop. And so please bear with us. The only reason we're having this problem is that we're not full of shit sellout Negroes. We're not coontards. We're not blacknecks, nigglins, or negroidians. We're folk, ordinary people who love our own kind that want us to get our share. And it really bothers them. And the best that Homeland Insecurity can do is mess with your Twitter, mess with your YouTube. I've had about 3 YouTube channels taken down, 4 Facebook accounts taken down. I've had 2 or 3 phones ghosted and destroyed. And I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. To hell with them. And y'all have to have the same attitude. We're at war with people who hate our guts. And it's never going to get easier. It's like a bully. Either you beat his ass or you always get your ass beaten. That was my commercial announcement. Now back to the Queen. My friends, let me just go all the way back. You can go right to Google. Treat me like the biggest liar that you've ever heard of. And I'm nowhere near as deep as other folks on Kemet and Africa and Europe. The information is out here. But I can just say one thing. Scotland. And Scotland is named for who? The Egyptian princess named Scotia. It's the beginning of royalty for much of what's called England. Scotia, an African princess from Egypt who was queen of Portugal and England and Ireland. Scotia. And from Scotia, you get Scotland. Nova Scotia is New Scotia. It's named for Black woman. That's the queen you need to know. This pale thing here that's gone, well, they're flavor of the month. They're German. They're in no way really connected to the royal lineage of Great Britain. They're frauds. They got busted. When their relatives in Germany had Saxe-Gothenburg planes bomb and kill school children in London in 1917, they changed their name to Windsor to make it seem as if they actually have something to do with British royalty. This is a fact.
Real quick, Dr. Short. I see people are requesting to speak. We're not going to take any speakers right now. Dr. Short's going to cook.
Yeah, no, and by the way, there are people that have questions or answers that know 10 times more than me. I'm not one of those Negroes in the pissing contest, ding-a-ling contest, Africa trivia, or pyramid chasing slave catcher contest. I do not know it all. I will never know it all. I hang with people like Dwan and Sister Star and others because the scriptures say where there are many counsels, there's wisdom. When there are lots of smart people, then you do have lots of answers. I have a few, and I don't mind sharing the few I have. I can also point you to a very old book by a Jamaican who knew who he was, named Joel A. Robinson, who has a series of books, Race, Color, and Sex, if I'm correct. He had a book, Nature Knows No Color Line, and he would show all of the British and royal lineages throughout Europe have African roots, whether they're Moors, Egyptians, across the board. And therefore, these people who are Germanic, who were in swamp bogs and caves, are newcomers to the whole process. I'm not picking on anybody. I never said anybody wasn't human. I don't play those games. But the real queens, in fact, there are people in America, Black, or whatever you want to call us, FBA, more, who are more in line with the British royalty than the people in those palaces that they can't afford to heat without stealing energy and resources from Mother Africa. That includes the so-called Middle East. The queen that people are crying over is window dressing, and she's basically a PR front woman for an empire that's more like Dracula on steroids in relationship to Black people. This woman that we're crying for as titular head of the Church of England, aka the Anglican, aka the Episcopal Church, is the entity from the Peace of Utrecht in the early 1700s onwards that had the monopoly and trading enslaved Aborigine, aka Black Indians, and Africans. That's where they get their money from. This queen's tissue ahead of all those things, whether it's the trading in opium, which was not just used to enslave Chinese, but was used to sedate Africans in slave castles throughout the west coast of Africa. This same queen and the so-called British Commonwealth, where African countries are poorer today than they were in 1960 and 65 and 64, because the economic system for which she's the nice, smiling public relations face for has systematically made African people poor around the world. I'll bring it home for you. I'm not ashamed of Georgia. My family goes back to the very beginnings of colonial Georgia, whether they're Miccosukee, Seminoles, or whatever, Black, Jew, whatever. The Queen of England, this one that just died, companies that she had an interest in were systematically ripping off the kaolin and the natural resources of Black folks in in East Central Georgia, where my people are from, where they would go in and sign crazy deals where Black folks who would have tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars of a mineral called kaolin that you put in kaopectate, that these people got just maybe a few $100s, and these people would destroy the land and the lives of thousands of Black people in Georgia. This queen, the same banks in England that launder the drug money that's used to destroy our people from coast to coast in the United States, that queen is a shareholder in. That queen is a shareholder in the Royal African Company, which may not exist anymore, but the contract is binding. If you read the chart of the Royal African Company, we Black people and the mineral resources under our feet belong to England into perpetuity. Commonwealth, my ass. This queen came out against apartheid only when the British Commonwealth was going to fall apart, because England's gold disproportionately comes from South Africa, and the labor force as a homosexualized sodomite group of Black men who are kept away from women 10 to 11 months out of the year, and they raped the young men. And it was set up by a sodomite by the name of Cecil Rhodes, who worked for the Rothschilds, who are crooked Jews, who are friends with the other crooked Jews named the Oppenheimers that run the major corporation Anglo-American, which controls 70% of the economy of what you call South Africa, which in its real name is Azania. This queen does not set public policy or foreign policy for Great Britain. I understand that. But she's the nice face of white folks drinking Black folks' blood. She's a nice face to cover up the British killing upwards of 1 million Kenyans when they were fighting for their liberation. She's the nice face. The nice face when up to 4 million people died in Nigeria in the Biafran War. She's a nice face when people die in Sierra Leone over diamonds traded in the city of London. She's a nice face when they gave Jamaica independence. They structured the economy to indebt the Jamaicans. So that's why those broke-ass niggas are trying to steal our heritage, because they can't even afford to live on the damn island they came from. I don't care who doesn't like it. When Jamaica was a British colony, their bauxite, the mineral from which you get aluminum, drew a good price as long as they were a colony to Britain. When they got independent, all of a sudden the Jamaicans couldn't get a decent price for their bauxite, nor could the people in Guyana for their bauxite. These people were made poor. Nope, the Queen didn't do it. But the Queen is the nice grinning face of global Anglo-American white supremacy. There's no ifs, buts, and ands about it. I'm not saying she personally did anything. However, she did personally have something to do with that African English baby that got killed inside of Princess Diana. She sure had her hands in that. She sure had her hands in Meghan Markle, who's not a soul sister, but still, even if she don't want to be black, they hate her because she is. Real talk, y'all. This queen didn't say anything when the UDF, Unilateral Declaration of Independence for the white settler state of Rhodesia, which is now known as Zimbabwe, the same anthrax that killed the 2 black postal workers at my post office service station in Brentwood, D.C., that same anthrax was developed in Britain and at Fort Detrick here to kill black people in South Africa. Then they used it to kill us here. My mother was exposed. A friend of mine was killed from having to take Cipro to fight the anthrax that most of you don't know was dropped on Howard University in 2001 at the law school and at the administration building of Howard. This queen was this grinning face when they took down Kwame Nkrumah. This queen didn't do anything about the genocide going on in South Sudan. No, they didn't. This queen didn't say anything about the apartheid that was taking place in Namibia. You never heard this queen say a mumbling word when natural disasters would hit the Bahamas or Jamaica, or in fact, when they had the volcano on Montserrat, or when they'd have problems on Nevis or other places. Britain didn't even want those people to come home. When there was a scandal in 2018 where the British government was plotting to deport all the black people out of England, that's in 2018. Not 1818 or 1918, within the last 6 years. She never said a mumbling word. And yet these folks, coons in the British Commonwealth, crying over this woman like they slept with her. Crying over her like they're going to make twins together and she died in the operating room. Crying over her like she's, for us. She's for herself. Only thing I can think of recently I liked that she did was Diana Ross sang at her Diamond Jubilee. But Diana Ross is sang for everybody. Hell. And the voice is weared out now. Why so much concern for her other than she represents a dying white supremacy? And I'm not saying anything necessarily negative against her as a person, but what she represents is the grinning face of white superiority. And you don't hear her crying or saying anything about the desperate blacks in Botswana, where all the diamonds come from, and almost all of those are in the hands of white people. Come on, y'all. This same queen, last thing, Tanzania, who undermined the economic system that Julius Nyerere is trying to develop. The only country in the world that said, we'll take black American people if nobody else wants them. Which governments threaten the president of Tanzania with assassination if they dared allow black Americans to flee oppression in the United States? And you have to understand that the United States and Great Britain work together and holding black people down. Don't you ever forget that. She is the grinning face. She's basically the Kamala Harris of the naked, vicious, racist program. If you ever talk to Dick Gregory, he'll tell you that British intelligence had a lot to do with attacking the black movement because of fear and this isn't just held by the British, the French and other people have been terrified of Black American self-determination, was a threat to the Portuguese Empire, the Belgian Empire, the French Empire, the Spanish Empire, the Italian Empire, when almost 100,000 Black men signed up to take up arms to fight the Italians in Ethiopia in the 1930s. This queen represents the last vestige of those people, of that nice grinning generation that on one hand seemed like they were okay, but they benefited. The wealth, the diamonds, the crown jewels, everything they have. And the British Museum that everybody's so proud of, where they've looted everything from Africa and looted everything from Dahomey and from Azania and from Congo. And we go over there and we marvel at what they've stolen from us and marvel at what the Queen, where England doesn't have any damn gold for that carriage for her to ride around in. Where'd it come from? From our blood, sweat, and tears. The Royal Virginia Company that brought over Black people enslaved, that's a royal company. The East Africa Company that sent, East India Company to send narcotics and dope to China. All of this money, Jardine Matheson and other banks that are connected to money laundering under Hong Kong and through Macau, is all connected to the royal family. This isn't anything that you can't find anywhere. Maybe she never touched a line of cocaine or snorted some dope in her days, but she's gotten paid off of it. To me, you're complicit and you're as responsible as a person that's a direct distributor of narcotics if you get paid off of it. I'll stop for a second.
Yeah, Dr. Short, you cooking right there, man, because you're bringing up some real serious questions right now, what's going on and who she really is and what she represents. When it comes to the Queen now, what's this thing with, you saw the thing with Jamaica saying they're going to have 12 days of silence, basically no celebration, in mourning of the Queen of England. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, they've been mourning not being white for their whole history. So that's just 12 more days to be miserable. You know, Jamaica is like all the islands in the Caribbean. They're basically coon mango republics. No Black dignity, no Black pride, no Black self-respect. I'm not talking about the rank and file Jamaicans. I want to remind everybody that this queen was opposed to reparations. The Caribbean nations went and asked for reparations from Britain, and the government told them, no, get lost, niggers. Or actually, what they don't say nigger in England. They like the word they use is gollywog. And they have wog for short. That's how you say nigger in England. Oh, yes, they have their own. They use nigger, but they use wog, too. The Jamaicans were denied reparations. The Jamaicans were denied debt forgiveness. They don't even want the Jamaicans in England. I was saying this with the Windrush scandal, where they were detaining people. But yet, if you go to Jamaica, the British own those big plantations. They own all kinds of stuff. The economic system, the neo-colonialism is the term that they use. Basically, neo-colonialism may as well be neo-slavery. That you may have a flag, you may have a parliament, and this is what these niggas throw up in our faces when they come here. That we don't have a flag and we don't have a parliament, although we have coons in Congress who do the same for us as their leadership does for them. Nothing. And so you give people the appearance. Malcolm X talked about tokens. And they give you a token to get on a train that's not real money. They have a token of independence in Jamaica. In fact, the only country down there trying to be independent is Barbados, where they said, look, we want to be a republic and run our own stuff. That was the only way that they could have some economic advancement, is to get rid of this bloodsucker called the Queen. Yeah, I haven't heard that. Why did Barbados want to break off? And those are some confused high yellow niggas down there, the ones that run things, because the system that was set in place by the British Empire that they say doesn't exist, maybe not militarily, but economically, which is what really matters, cash always rules. Those people are economic slaves. And the best thing that you can do in the Caribbean for the most part is sell your ass or sell drugs. In fact, sell drugs to the black Americans that you hate or to tourists, to sell your body, gigolo yourself. For those people, the rank and file of folks who don't have anything. Who's been against those people even being able to sell their pineapples or agricultural produce? It's not just the United States. The British could have lobbied for those folks to have stuff. They don't give a damn. Wherever you have the British Commonwealth and it's black folks, they're broke. And Australia, New Zealand, how come the copper and Zambia, the only people want to pay for the Chinese? Not they couldn't get prices for anything. Malawi, all these countries, rich in resources, are broke, are in the Commonwealth, and they're crying for this queen who is a trillionaire. If you don't know anything about the Queen of England, let me tell you something. There's a book called Who Owns Great Britain and the United Kingdom. It's a book you can find. It's very expensive. That queen owned all of the coastland of England was hers, even like a mile out, all the mineral resources. That broad was rich, stinking rich. And they have royal lands even in Africa. They got it through, what are these things called? Non-governmental organizations. Her little crooked racist husband, as part of the World Wildlife Federation, where they were trying to save the giraffes, the lions, and the tigers, and the wildebeest, and let the blacks die. That's who you laid up with. You were married to a racist dude that hated black people. And we got to separate that. Isn't that something black folks are guilty by association? If I know
Right.
Louis Farrakhan, I'm a racist. Well, couldn't she be a racist if she was married to one who said his fantasy, if he could be reincarnated, is to come back as a virus and kill people? You know he wasn't talking about whites. He's talking about killing us. How do you sleep with a dude like that?
Dr. Short, I want you to break down like one thing that people are leaving out, like her Germanic background. The all royal family, they're all Germans. Her uncle, her father's brother, when he was the king during World War II. Remember? Did you hear the story about him? Read the story about him supposedly abdicating the throne because he was giving secrets to Hitler, and
No,
when Hitler,
he abdicated the throne to screw this woman, Wallace. I forget her first name. She's Canadian commoner, and he was screwing someone other than his wife, and he got with this broad. But he thought he tried to get with Hitler. If the Germans had taken over and won World War II, that he would be the ruler of the British Empire. Yes. He tried to cut a deal because her family admired the Nazis. If you look, there's a little video with Queen Elizabeth giving the Hitler salute. Her and her sister, the little whorish one that would rent gigolos. Real talk. That's really sad when you're a princess and you have to buy dick. I mean,
well, when you look at their teeth, they have 90-year-old teeth by the time they're 16.
oh my God. And not only, can you imagine those teeth on your shoes? No, I just do missionary. Yeah, that's okay. You don't have to bite me. I mean, you know, you would never get it back if they did it. They went down, it would really go down. And they go, oh.
And Prince Harry looking older than King Charles. What the fuck wrong going on right there? Like,
Well, because they're inbred. They're inbred. I mean, you only want to screw your cousins. I mean, I talk about a closed shop in unions. Damn. In fact, Meghan Markle, they were mad. I mean, she had a real booty, even though it was kind of diluted with the vanilla from her dad. Some color. I mean, those hoes are so mad. I mean, she's making us all look bad. Look at her with her black booty.
I used to see her around LA back in the early 2000s. She be on that party scene, Meghan Markle. We grew up in the same neighborhood. She it's funny you say that about them because wasn't the Duke her husband, the one that looked like the Reed from that movie Nothing But Trouble? Wasn't that her cousin too?
You know, I don't know who you're making reference to.
Her husband, the Duke.
Yeah, well, the Duke was the one that used to dress up and do the Nazi parties. Those pictures are out on the internet. Just put in her husband's name, and you'll see a picture of him with the Nazi clothes on. Real talk. I mean, but you know what? I guess the black booties brought him around. You know, it's a heart fix and a mind regulator.
Wait, no, that's what it was with him. Wasn't his family part of the? Was it Greek royalty that was expelled?
His grandfather, yes, they got kicked out when the folks got tired of them.
Yeah, they were the Greek royalty.
And they escaped in some orange crates. Oh, too bad the ship didn't sink.
Are you ready for some more questions?
If I can answer them, I'm not an expert on the royal family, but I will try.
All right, we got Sister Sean. She's been waiting. We're
Real quick,
gonna go to her,
if
and
everyone
then
in here can,
we'll keep moving from there. Go ahead,
if
Sister
everyone
Sean.
in here can share
Hi,
the space.
Sister Sean.
It shows she's connecting. There she is.
Hi, Sister Sean.
Hey, peace, power, reparations, or die. I just want to say, I can't even really say too much right here because you spitting. So I want you to continue to spit. But here's what I've listened to, what you left me with what I call those golden nuggets that I, to the utmost, respect and admire. And what you left me with outside of all this other extra details, history, and facts is that what I want to let everybody know is to figure out and understand who the real queens are. That statement that you
That's
made,
right.
that statement that you made just really sat with me. I want to repeat that statement. But we are respectful. We're respectful people. We don't want to see anybody dead. The woman died gracefully. She died at 96 years old, pampered, right? Pampered and coddled. And we still have respect for that, but we've got our elders who are dying 20 years earlier in terror.
Claude Anderson. Right.
Okay.
There are people that need to be loved. Right.
Exactly. So I can't unsee that. I can't unsee how my elders are not pampered and coddled and don't have all the riches in the world and don't even have the peace of mind to grow to the ripe old age of 96, dying in peace when they have been living under terror. And that's just facts. So I want to just really say that I appreciate, and that's what I'm taking from your conversation. I want to acknowledge, tell, and encourage everyone to share the space and to definitely support our brother. I don't care if it's $5, Cash App, $, $Dr. Randy Short. I think his picture will come up. We have got to support our elders. He's being censored. I know this. Dwan, Nikki, you guys are giving him a space. And here's another thing. I never in my Twitter journey had to chase a space. This is literally the first time. I had to chase like 2 different spaces just to find you because the space had to go down, go back up. So I literally had to chase you to find you to speak. And thank you for your time on the stage. And that means something. If I have to chase a space, which this is something I never had to do, that means you spitting some real fire, some real truth. Let's support our brother. Again, that Cash App, definitely, because you can't get it. Dr.
It's
Randy
up in the
Short.
jumbotron.
Thank you. Put it in the jumbotron. Yes, put it in the and share the space.
Jumbotron.
It's already in the
I appreciate
jumbotron.
that, Sister Sean, and that's for everyone out there. You guys know how I got before I ever reached out to Dr. Randy Short for an interview, and I knew my brother Ronald Hurd, who would get me in contact with him. Before I asked for anything ever of him, the first thing I did, I think he saw maybe 2 or 3 cash apps for me, because when I would listen to Dr. Randy Short on We All Be and support brother Ronald Hurd, We All Be on YouTube. He's the person that used to interview Dick Gregory and Judge Joe Brown. When I heard him, Dr. Short, on his channel years and years ago, Dr. Short would always say things that would make me look up things and make me find out things. And because of that, because I appreciated it so much, I always donated to Dr. Randy Short, long before I started interviewing with him, and long before we met, because that's just how you treat people who do you right. You know what I mean? Hold on. I got a train of motorcycle niggas going down the street. You know how that go. Old black men playing cameo, and they loud ass Harley Davidsons going on. But anyway, you got to make sure that you donate to Dr. Randy Short. And I see that he got kicked out from speaking. I don't know what happened, but I just invited you back to speak, Dr. Short. I don't know what's happening now. I'm hitting the Nikki. Can you invite Dr. Short, because it's not letting me? I see his name, but there it is. There it is, Dr. Short.
Are y'all able to hear me?
Yeah, they kicked me out. I'm sorry. It happens. You know how it is, Dwan. I,
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
not, and we're not talking about violence or guns or racial hatred. I don't even talk like that. Even when we talk one on one, it's what's so dangerous about little old me? Nobody. That's some insecure people. We have to understand that we already have the victory if we used our minds and we had some solidarity. Not among everybody, but a few of us could flip the whole thing. Y'all need to understand. I'm going to send it to you, Brother Dwan. We have a whole movement. There are two things. They killed Brother Logan's son, Micah, in a hospital in Texas, and I'm gonna help that brother. We God help me. I don't mind dying. I never died twice this year. It's shit. Death is just another part of life, and I'm not a crazy person. I want to live as long, but when it's over, it's done. But God help.
Real quick, Dr. Short. Real quick, while you on that, just Steve, can you post the link to the donation to our brothers GoFundMe? I donated this morning. But Sister Eve, can you please hit us in the jumbotron with how to donate
I'll
to the
find it and
campaign?
post
And
it.
salute to Eve in the chat room for helping coordinate getting that brother some money from the community. And the community is showing out. It was already like over $9,000 raised for him.
Yeah, we
The goal
gotta
is
help.
10,000.
We gotta help them. He's a black father. She's a black mother. She's a queen. He's a king. That's the prince. I went to see the doctor, Dewan. You called me right after I left the doctor's. I called you, and thanks to God, my blood pressure came down because it was high as shit yesterday after I heard what they did. You know, we got to stand up because when they do this kind of thing to people who care, it tears your heart up. I have my doctor saying you can't care about this stuff. You got to ignore stuff that you see happening to your people because it's going to kill you. It's going to destroy you thinking about stuff. And yet, like you, Brother Dewan, we can't, it's like an addiction. You can't ignore what's happening to your people. And you can try, but you hear it. You know what I'm saying? That they killed my father. My father died mainly due to people not washing their hands in the hospital. My brother died because they didn't diagnose that he had pneumonia when he was in a place that was a medical facility. My great grandmother died in a hospital. They didn't detect a blood clot on her brain. My uncle was lied to. He had been poisoned with Agent Orange, and the army covered it up, and they basically killed him. And my grandmother was experimented on. Then I hear about this little baby, and I'm just, shit. And you know what I'm saying? And abortions, health care, and black women are 3 times more likely to die in a hospital than white women. And black babies 3 times as likely to die in the hands of white doctors as black doctors. And I got these friends you got to meet. My cousin, Dr. Vivian in Mississippi, was just telling me that gallstones could be gotten rid of with natural herbs. And I thought about the fact that my father had gallbladder, had to have his gallbladder removed. They didn't even diagnose it until it was like a cement block inside of him. And I was talking to another person, and then this man's baby dies from a gallbladder, something that shouldn't have happened. And I know just the week before I'm talking to this woman, Dewan, where her own sister worked for a hospital, for a university hospital in Baltimore, and had her own nephew shot dead so the organs could be sold. And then you hear about them killing babies, you know, and it's hard not to get angry. You know, your blood pressure get jacked up. Then I hear all these people crying over this damn queen, who's a trillionaire, who is pampered, who lived a long time. And I'm thinking, you know, Negroes are psycho. And by the way, the blackest people in the world are Black Americans. What I can't stand about the conscious community Black folks is that they make Africans better than us. They make Caribbeans, well, because you're in a country that's mostly Black, y'all are more authentic. We're the most authentic Black people in the world. I'm not against anybody anywhere else. I love everybody else. But we need to stop having our heads down. We need to start, in fact, take stock of fighting for here. We're the only people on a landmass that a lot of people want to be on, and we refuse to associate with it. I'm not knocking Africa. I love Africa. When the cab driver asked, he couldn't believe I knew about Ethiopia. I knew the state he was from. Sister Sean was heard the call. I know all about Africa. Love Africa. Can't wait to go back. Wouldn't mind being able to live back and forth on my terms. But my place is here. No people give up land. Like I said, the Queen and them own land all over the world. We're the only people that would throw away the land we do have and go to another person's country and try to compete with them over stuff that's not promised to us. And I have to say this, the wealth of England, the United Kingdom, comes from the degradation of Blacks in South Africa. My friends, every month, a minimum of 10,000 or more Black babies die from malnutrition in South Africa. For them to subsidize and send food and mineral resources to white countries. And at least 10,000 Black babies die every month in South Africa of malnutrition. Understand, go all the way back to Nelson Mandela becoming head of state, and then you have the number of the millions of Black babies and men and women that have died. And by the way, who was getting paid off of that? The same Queen that this Jamaican idiot is crying over. In fact, this same Jamaican government is the one that's interested in having LGBTQ rights down there. Oh yeah, they're very interesting. You'll find the Jamaican and the Caribbean elites, they're boule, they hate their own masses. Just like the African elites. Once they steal and get run out of their country, they come to America. Or they go to Europe. They won't build up their own societies. You know, I had this little nasty Trinidadian broad that looked like a Pekingese dog with a diamond stud necklace. And she was saying all this bad stuff about Black Americans. And I said to her, well, broad, why is your country broke as fuck? She says, it's a small country. I said, bitch, Hong Kong is small. Singapore is small. Monaco is small. You niggas are sorrier than we are. With your British education, it doesn't do shit for you. And I'm not knocking good education, but you learn all this stuff about the Queen, you don't know who the hell you are. And these folks talk about this Queen like they've been playing, you know, cricket and Uno with her. She couldn't care less about you.
Yeah, and most of these people that are worshiping the Queen, talking about how much she meant to her, to them, they can't tell the difference between her and one of the Golden Girls. You know, they don't
The
really
Golden
pay
Girls were
attention to
pretty.
Yeah, she looked. The Queen looked like she was raised in salt water, don't she?
No, she looks like that thing from Pirates of the Caribbean. Yes, she does. She does. You know who I'm talking about. She's short.
Yeah, she does.
She looks like
Yeah,
thing from Pirates. Y'all laugh. Y'all know I'm funny. Big Gregory said I'm
right about
funny.
that. You're right about that. That's how, like that. That's how Steve Nash is gonna look when he turns 60. He's gonna look just like her, I think. But we got Sister Shine, you got your hand up. Sister Shine, I see you have your hand up.
Are y'all able to hear me? Are y'all able to hear me?
Just Eve?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I could hear Sister Sean. Y'all couldn't hear her?
I couldn't hear her.
I can't
I'm
hear
sorry.
it either.
I'm here. Go ahead, Jesse. Go ahead and just call me when you want me to come up. I'm here.
Come on right after Just Eve.
Peace to the room. I appreciate the space. I accepted the mic because I guess you wanted me to throw something in the Jumbotron. It looks like Nikki has already done that. Just an update on the GoFundMe. We are $65 away from our goal of $10,000. I think that's beautiful. This $10,000 is not even a lot of money, y'all. It's just like the first step. And that's only if things go swimmingly. And how can things go swimmingly when Micah should still be here?
That's right.
If things go, like how it goes for white people, then, $10,000 might be enough to fight it. They might back off. Basically, what I had said yesterday is it's just another
Sister Eve.
Yes.
And first of all, I love your spirit. I love what y'all doing. And I want to let you know, my friend who raises hell as an attorney has been in touch with Mr. Logan. He knows how to work systems, in particular the federal legal system. He's already been in touch. That's one piece. It's not the whole piece. But I want to say to you, and what I would say to Logan, we're supposed to talk today. They've got some, pardon my language, some nigger congressmen down in Texas. That one that looks like the Geico caveman, and the one that looks like Henrietta the Hippo from the New Zoo Review, Sheila Jackson Lee. We need to lean on those niggas to have a congressional hearing on black women and babies dying in the hospital. If they can talk about killing black babies for abortion, then when you want to save our black live baby, we need to make these bastards have a minority hearing. Actually, they're the majority right here and now, and bring in these damn hospitals, because they don't just kill babies, but they kill us like they killed my father, because they don't wash their hands when they operate on black people. They bring over dirty people from other countries that hate us. We need to have this out here and now, because it will help not only prevent another Micah, but move us forward on reparations and expose the atrocities in this system. So yes, I don't want to take away from any strategy that exists, but we need to take this and put this on the international thing that they can't kill our women and babies. And we have to make these boule folks either get the fuck out of public office or serve us. The same way we used to sit in white restaurants, we need to go in and sit in their congressional offices until they do something for us. And we can make them do it. Now is the time. There will never be another time until 2024 with the election for us to lean on these people. They're telling us to vote. They're telling us to do all these things. But when these horrors happen to us, to mothers and fathers, to Miss Holloman, my friend, they can murder her son in front of her for her organs, for his organs, and make her out to be crazy. We need to lean on these people who are in predominantly black congressional districts to do something, or we're going to come for them. We have to force this issue. I'm not saying that you're not with me. The problem in our community is that we respect these sorry-ass boomers who only want to rub asses and have interracial experiences and safaris at the expense of future generations. We can't wait anymore. It's time to be disrespectful and rude. Where is the Kool-Aid party? Whites had the Tea Party. I'm from broke D.C. We have Kool-Aid because we couldn't afford juice. We need a Kool-Aid party to show up like they're doing pop-ups, but we have to target the people who sit in positions where they can get money and human rights for Asian Pacific people that hate our guts. They'll advocate for human trafficked kids coming in from Central America, but can't say a goddamn thing for our kids here. We've got to put this at hard on them. It would change this country, and a handful of us can do it. Trust me. They're absolutely terrified of us beginning to point our finger at the Greek letter and Masonic and other traitors in our community. We've got to do this. And I need to tell you, in case you never saw it, my phone, all my stuff got wiped out, but I got a communication from Alveda King, the niece of Martin Luther King, where all the Greek letter organizations in Atlanta that spoke for would support Biden for nothing in exchange for black people. So what's happening is there's an agreement for us to continue to be murdered by police, to be killed in the hospitals, to be aborted, to be homeless. You wonder why it keeps happening, because there's a stand down. As long as they're okay, as long as they'll have jobs and contracts, they're just like the sellout leaders in Africa and the Caribbean. They don't mind if 99% of the people starve, as long as they can take jet planes from Lagos to Italy to eat gelato. We have to have a civil war against boule, sellout, blackneck coons. Now, we can't wait for them to kill another baby, and Micah should be the focus. If an innocent black baby with good parents who didn't have a father and a mother out in the street in the crack house, handing out nappy dugout to the NBA, but a family, a holy union of God, can't expect in any reasonable ability that their child or their mother, their father would survive in the hospital. Then we have to go after the low-hanging fruit in our struggle, and those are the traitor leaders in our community. As long as we don't have a concept of traitors, as long as everybody's cool, I'm okay, you're okay, we're damned. See, these people have to be made. Let me tell you something. The white folks will know that we're serious when we get beyond just looking at the surface of your skin color. What are you going to do for me? Or damn it, get out of my way.
That's basically how you put it. Eve, you have something to say?
Oh, just that we've been in contact daily, and Ogun Spirit appreciates all of your contacts and efforts that you've been doing. I think
And
that
more
we
is
got off the
coming.
phone.
More is coming. I'm pissed. I'm sick of this. All this. I mean, they put up black women for killing babies as health care, and then they murder him when he's trying to get health care for a black baby that we wanted. It's outrageous.
A black baby that we wanted. Absolutely. We wanted Micah. Everything about Micah was my baby as much as he was not my baby. I'm really kind of fucked up about all this because I've got 5 of my own babies. Like it's really fucked up because for someone to have to sacrifice, I say all the time, like, be happy that it's not your sacrifice, and now it is a sacrifice, and it wasn't even one of my sacrifices, but damn if it's not hitting really close to home. But I just wanted to, before I drop down, let the family know that we have reached the 10,000 mark. I appreciate all of you guys for everything that y'all have done. Hopefully y'all can keep hitting it, because again, I don't think that this is gonna be, I think that this is still a small amount, but I do think that it's going to help them go a long way. So just be
Sister, I
supportive.
know a guy that's a publicist who's really good. You can email me. I respond to emails, DrRandyShort@gmail.com. And no, you don't have to send a donation. There's some things we just do for each other. I got 2 publicists, and I have a newspaper that started called The People's Report. It's middle of the road because I need money, but when it comes time, if you fuck with my people, I'm going to trip on you. I need to talk to my boss because she's going to flip when I tell her. And we need to make this into a movement. We have to make films. We need to go Hollywood, because Negroes are only into celebrities, but we can bring them along. But we're going to shake up this whole country. We can't have them kill any more babies. You need to know, up in Baltimore, they systematically experiment on people, and they do it down here in DC too. Okay, I grew up watching black men that they experimented on who had syphilis. Okay, I'm not lying to you. Stuff I don't talk about. If people think I'm crazy, it's because you're tired of seeing it, and you can't do anything. You got my email. You call me. Not a millionaire, but you know, the Bible says silver and gold have I none, but what I have, I'll give you. You contact me because we have to stop this. They tried to experiment on me. I wasn't lying to y'all at the hospital. I had to tell them, get me out, they're gonna kill me. It just makes me angry. And it's not so much my life, but a baby. That's how mean this thing is. I called my cousin who's a medical expert down in Mississippi, and she said that's a sacrifice. She hears about them killing, and that it's exactly what you guys think it is. I'm hearing this from other people that don't even know. They've heard this kind of stuff. And it's got to stop. It's like that doctor up in Philadelphia that killed at least 17,000 live black babies. They didn't even want to put him in jail. They busted him for having drugs, not for killing live black babies. They knew all about it. Dr. Gosnell. They know that this stuff happens. And by the way, President Obama said, God bless Planned Parenthood when this stuff was going on. And he couldn't assess. He'd wait to see what the court said. So killing live black babies couldn't even get a response from that faggot nigger. We have to stop these people who are killing us from within because there are enough of us. We need to be the new Boule, the Boule that gives a damn, the Boule that thinks women are queens and that men are kings, and that children are loved and wanted, a Boule that says we can't deal with racism anymore. I don't want to live like this. You don't want to live like this. And I don't think another generation has to come and experience the kind of shit that we've been through. And we've had it good in comparison to our ancestors. And forgive me, they're crying over this damn queen. It's this baby's upset me way more than the queen. She had her long ass walk. Windsurfing in the blood of our people and drinking champagne and eating caviar. And this baby they kill.
And remember what Harry said? Hold on. There we go. Harry said that I had this one spot outside that I got reception. Everywhere else in my house is dead. But Harry said that, he always suspected his grandmother and the family of killing his mother. That's how sadistic these people are. Because of that baby that she had coming out by that brown
Egyptian. Yeah, Fadi's baby.
Yeah.
And yet, when you look at the queen, that she looks like Rosemary's baby, got some St. James clothes, right? I mean, I'm not impressed by all that. I'm serious. When you look like you're the exorcist with some nice clothes on, that doesn't move me. I don't care what your title is. She does look like the exorcist.
Yes, she does. Sister Sean, I know you had a question.
Yeah, what I wanted to just say, Just Eve, thank you for your presentation. I've been listening, and I didn't follow you. I was not following you, but I am now following you. So I will, I followed you, and I will be giving a contribution to your cause. But I want to get back to what Dr. Short is saying. I know the spaces of the room, the topic has switched 3 times because of shenanigans. But what I want to put and what I thought about now that the queen is dead, ding dong, the queen is dead, the queen is dead. What really comes to my mind, and anybody in these spaces, we've been battling like with Africans, Pan-Africans, and all of this stuff. And I really come to the conclusion that they do not know their history. They literally do not know their history. And we need people like Dr. Short to even tell them their history. That's why they're so butthurt on us. So they will have a different perspective when the queen is dead than us. Because we are, we've got that knowledge. And it's really, really sad because it isn't anything. So now you're being accused of being divisive. You're being accused of being xenophobic. So you're being accused of all these things because I know more about your history than you do. So I think that's something really to pontificate on, and us, because we are the ones that being accused. So we have to really understand that when we're having conversations with people outside of our like mindset. And it doesn't have anything to be, it's not anti-Pan-African, because I think Dr. Short, he connected all the damn dots. Nobody is accusing you of that. And now that your queen is dead, I think they need to think about it. And I'll land right there.
Now, I want to go along with something you just said about as far as them not, they don't know their history as far as how their geopolitical position relative to them. But let's not there. Let's just keep it on. They don't know. Busta Rhymes don't know what Katt Went said 20 years ago. What Bob Marley said 30 years or 40 years ago about all of their music, everything in their culture being inspired by black people. I'm talking about recent from the 70s. You got artists that came out in the 90s that know history from the 70s. Oh, and so when you listen to them talk, when you listen to them and try to explain things, and if you know their history, if you just know their history, they look like a bunch of clowns. So you're looking at a group of people who, and this not everyone, because there are people out there who are down and know their stuff, but the ones who were speaking out, they don't even take the time to learn out what happened 30, 20 years ago. Afro Elite.
Yeah. Nikki just texted me and told me that she's been trying to speak, but they won't let her come off her mic. They won't let her unmute herself. So I know you guys have been restarting spaces because Twitter is giving you guys technical issues, and it still is. So I just wanted to let you guys know that.
For sure. Thanks, man. Yeah, I should have said something because Nikki, she's not allowed to speak right now, but she can still kind of see what's going on. But we have her hosting it because they messing with my connection over here, and I still have 4 bars and a full Wi-Fi signal, but I still keep going in and out and have the room. So they messing with us.
Yeah, DeWan, can I say one more thing, and then you could drop me to listener. Another thing that I want to say is that I see Chef C came in the house. Chef C is kind of organizing like all these pull-ups everywhere. I mean, he's not the sole organizer. A lot of people are doing stuff, but there's the Baltimore pull-up that's supposed to be, I believe, in September the 15th. And I plan to be there. And I think Dr. Short, he's been invited to be my
I'll go with you. If you go, I'll go.
Yeah. So we going for Chef C. Chef C has been
We
hard
love Chef C.
I mean, C, I see he's in the building.
If it's revolution, it's like his food. Damn, we're gonna win.
So I wanted to say that, and whatever. I don't get into all of the beefs and stuff, but I get into the people. I'm about the people and the policy and the purpose. See, so you'll see me, I don't get it. I'm Freedman FBI. I don't get into that, but we're going to support Chef C, and we're going to be at that pull up, right? And we're in DC. We couldn't get the pull up because we couldn't get the permits. We tried, but we couldn't do it. So now I understand how other people are having problems with permit. We in a whole different dynamic.
They blocked Tariq. They fought us. They would not let Tariq. We were not allowed to do it. We tried. There is some craziness. Some craziness. I'm a witness.
Yep.
Don't blame Tariq. Tariq did everything right. I wrote one of the goddamn letters, so I know it was done right. Okay, they're afraid of people like Sister Eve. They're not afraid of me. They know who I am. They're afraid of the faceless black folks. They don't know how many of us are not fucking coons in this country. That's what they're afraid of. They don't know how many of us are not on dope, how many of us don't need Cristal every night, how many of us are not sodomites, how many of us are not nigger Christians or nigger Muslims or nigger nobodies. They don't know how many of us are queens and kings and warriors and saints. They don't know. They're afraid of it, and they can't tap it. They can get my little dyke ass cousin Patrice to start Black Lives Matter and try to draw out people to set them up. They don't know how to stop what's coming, because you can't stop the wind and you can't stop the power of God and his people. Something's being raised up in us right now that they're afraid of. And already you see, even in nature, how the Europeans, who've always been prosperous, are having droughts, having record heat waves, having famines. They don't have enough food. We're talking about white folks who robbed the whole planet are running out of food. They're turning on each other. Whiteness isn't enough to keep them united, to hate the rest of us. And yes, we're divisive. Who doesn't want to be divided from slavery, segregation, sellout, coon-ass bullshit Negroes? We want division the same way I want to be divided from the shit that comes out of my behind. Why would I want to stay with something that's toxic?
That's real talk, Dr. Short. And Dr. Short, yeah, please watch. We talked about your heart earlier and everything. I remember the day you found out Colliers was your cousin. Y'all, Dr. Short called me, and he was sounding like Fred Sanford, like, "Oh, Ethel, this is the big one." He could, Dr. Short, you couldn't take that.
Yeah, I almost freaked out in the archives, and they would have had the cops on me because cussing and screaming because I'm angry. I mean, damn, I heard about Newsom one day and then this bitch the next. I got white supremacist, sodomite, globalistic people. And then I got Coons, this broad that looks like one of the bulls from Pamplona got loose and got a weave. And they're leading our people to destruction. Yeah. And then all that energy caught up in promoting this filthy agenda. And yet, when you have an innocent baby, they got to go begging. If this had been a Black Lives Matter thing, y'all got to send some money to Micah. My group sent 100. And if I get a decent, I'm going to send another piece because it's not over. It isn't over. If they ever see that folks want to see that Black babies live, they're going to push back. We got to push harder. Okay? I'm saying this to you. If we can rally behind Emmett Till, a distant cousin of mine, if we can rally behind Emmett Till, we can rally behind this baby. Okay, because nowadays when there's a symbol, they try to pick someone flawed like George Floyd or whatever the hell his name is. They can't put anything on this innocent baby. There's nothing greater that you can rally behind than the unborn and the born innocence. And we have to make this baby's life matter, like all of the babies' lives matter. And all the mothers' lives matter, because I heard about the Black woman where they didn't kill the baby, but they killed the mama. Y'all heard about that. They're sending us a signal that we're not safe anywhere. We got to take some space. I was talking to a gentleman named Mr. Williams, and both him and I have Seminole ancestry. Those are the people who were Black and Indian that lived in Florida and Georgia and Alabama, and they refused to be slaves to anybody. And I was telling him about my grandmother who used to carry around a Colt 45 pistol and put in white folks' face down in rural Georgia. That's how crazy. I'm not militant like that. So if y'all think I'm militant, I'm the biggest, moistest pussy in my family. If you met the other people that would like just shoot somebody, I'm talking about the criminals in my family. Frank Lucas is a distant cousin. People are ruthless in my bloodline. I'm sort of like, so if you think I'm militant, I'm about the nicest one. I went to school and got degrees and I speak diplomatically. The other people in my family, my God. Woo. Those folks, they shoot almost anybody.
Am I muted? Or Dr. Short, can y'all hear Dr. Short?
I can hear.
If y'all can hear me, I can't. I don't know if Dr. Short went out.
I hear you.
You hear me, Chef C?
All right, peace to the gods, the goddesses, pardon me. 1 second, let me step off this line. Hold the line. Okay. Peace to everybody in the room. Blessings to you, Sister Nikki, Brother Dwan. Shout out to you, Dr. Short. Shout out to you. Can y'all hear me?
Thank you. Yes, we hear you. Peace.
All right, blessings. Shout out to everybody in the room. And Sister Shaw, blessings to you, sister. I just want to let everybody know that, definitely support that brother Ogun spirit. You know, I know that for many of us, sometimes, you know, we get behind causes because we like somebody, but this shit is an injustice to all of us as Black Americans. So definitely hit that young man's Cash App and get behind his cause, because that's some bullshit that they did to that man's child. And if they fuck with one of our kids, they fuck with all of our kids, whether we got them here in the flesh or just metaphorically, family. This shit hit me hard because I could just listen, man. As a guy who doesn't have children yet, and you know, plans to have one at some point, this shit is devastating to me. So definitely support that, brother. As you were saying, brother, Dr. Randy Short. Yeah, shout out to Dr. Randy Short for being in the upcoming movie From the Soil. Him, Sister Sean. I appreciate you, Dr. Short, for blessing the camera. I did my best to make sure that my producer doesn't edit you down, brother. You know how they try to mold you down, brother, and hold your talking points. So we try to get as much of the game that you spit into this movie that's coming out pretty soon. So I'll definitely keep you posted. But other than that, man, family, this is the time. The queen is dead. That means the ancestors are working with us. And it's our time to go ahead and get what's rightfully ours. The ancestors are always on the job. And that means there's no time for us to take off, family. I land with that.
Yeah, I'm still having connection issues over here. Y'all hear me? Yeah. So, hey, Doctor, if y'all hear me, hit the heart button. Because I want to ask Dr. Short a question. Dr. Short, I don't know if you saw it yesterday. I'm gonna transition just slightly. We will get back on it because it has so much to do with what we're talking about. I don't know if you saw my interview on Fox Soul yesterday. It was me and Dr. Umar versus Cynthia Bangs G and some dude that we thought was a woman. And they didn't let us know that we were speaking to a woman who was saying that she was, to a dude that was saying she was a woman. What, like, in that situation right there, you think these dudes, we should start pushing for something to where these trans folks have to identify themselves if they're going to speak as a particular sex, or if they're going to? Do you think we should push for something like that?
Brother Dwan, at the heart of the feminist movement is getting rid of womanhood by Judith Butler. She's a leading radical lesbian feminist philosopher who's friends with Angela Davis and others. She's out in California where you are. We have to get rid of feminism. Let me be clear. I love women's rights. I love women owning property. If my mother didn't own property, I would be homeless. I love women that are educated. I think women should be protected. Motherhood should be compensated. Women should be loved, cherished, protected. However, women can't be men and men can't be women. Unfortunately, the mental manipulation that's been run on a lot of Black women has gotten them to line up with feminism around things that seem to be good. But the goal is ultimately to destroy Black people, the Black family, and destroy the Black man. Black men have to destroy feminism in our community. And the good Black women will be along with us. Feminism must go. Black men have been too soft on this issue. By the way, I never said no voting for women. That's nothing. I'm not there. I'm for women being treated equally wherever equality applies. I can't have a monthly. I can't lactate. Okay. I don't have a period. I don't need to have a vagina waxed. I'm a man. But so in some things, we are not equal. We're different and we're specialized. Where we're specialized, we can't equal the other sex. We have to give them a standalone that's theirs. And the same thing belongs to men. And for men, it's often philosophical. And it's often things that we have to do to protect the people that women may not be doing actively to protect the people, not because women are bad, but they should be protecting the home and the children. On the front line, when we see an enemy, a snake, we don't let it get in the house for the woman to cut the head off. We cut it off first. Feminism it's in our neighborhoods, in our community, and it's destroyed our family. There's this white female supremacy hiding as something good for all women. And there's sisterhood among women. It has nothing to do with that. The trans movement, all these people are aligned with the feminists. If you take down feminism, you'll get rid of the trans. We should stop negotiating. And forgive me, there are righteous black men who love and respect black women. I'm one of them, and so are you. And then there are black men that are predators that destroy black women, men, and babies. We have to stop our trash black men from violating our women, children, and our vulnerable males. Because when people get destroyed, they get raped or molested, and they don't fit in because they've been harmed, then the only choice they have is to find some sort of offbeat outlier group to belong to try to fit in. And this is what the trans and the LGBTQ and all this stuff provides, what seems to be a refuge for people who've been violated or hurt. That's women as well. However, I want to say something to you. Almost 90% of trans support themselves through sex work, prostitution, whoring. But what happened yesterday? A federal judge said that the Affordable Care Act, aka for racist Obamacare, doesn't have to cover AIDS drugs, antiretroviral drugs, which is a death sentence to all the people who are out here living this rainbow dream. So a lot of these people that are out here doing all this stuff, these white gay allies, the same ones that made certain that they got monkeypox vaccines so they could screw as much as they wanted without breaking out in rashes, but they didn't have any for the Latino gays. They didn't have it for the foundational Black American sissies. It was only for the Aryan gays who got the medicine, meaning that they didn't mind that those folks died. We have a group of Black gays and lesbians. They're dumb as shit. They're caught up in sex, and they think that having sex with white folks makes them equal, like Sally Hemings was equal to Thomas Jefferson. That's how dumb they are. We'll never convince them if they put their sexuality out there that they think being gay is as close as they can to being white. However, with the diseases and things that they're making and putting out here, those folks who insist on having this dangerous sex, as the country gets more broke, they're going to have less and less money to give these people prophylaxis and drugs to sustain the immoral, disease-ridden sex that they enjoy. And it's going to hit our community like a landslide of bricks. I care, however, and so do you, but we can't coddle people in the wrong. We have too many things attacking us, like them killing this baby Micah, for me to think about a dude that needs to have 100 people unload semen in his rectum every night. I don't think that's a fair use of our time. If you're that suicidal, something's going to kill you anyway. And as I said, the government is now saying, sending winks, it's safe to let the Black sissies that have been used to take down their people, to let them die. Just like what happened with AIDS. This will be worse. So a lot of these trans you won't see 2 or 3 years from now. Not that I wish death on them, but if you're out here doing all these dangerous things, and there are all these dangerous illnesses and things that they're inventing in laboratories, and you're out here and you want to be promiscuous, you signed your own death warrant. But we have to say no to Kinseyism, to all these deviant things, the pedophile movement. Our community literally needs to be a little more puritanical. I'm not saying be against sex, but let's return spirituality to sex. And the only spirituality that can ever be is man and woman. Man and man is imbalanced. Woman and woman, although their teeth may get flossed, is imbalanced. An adult with a child is imbalanced. A human being with an animal is an abomination. We have to begin to promote genuine sexuality, which is going to be for love, procreation, and the building of society and peace and harmony between the sexes and the generations to come. We need to get clear about what sex is, and it's not different strokes for different folks like that weird nigga from, what's his name, Sly Stone. We need to get rid of that. That was introduced into our community by folks who wanted to destroy us. In 1960, we had the strongest family in America. What's happened between then and now? Different strokes for different folks. We need to simply have love strokes for loving folks and for it to be man and woman. We can no longer play this game, and we cannot pretend that liberals who hate our guts are our friends. Whenever you see the liberals, they want to legalize drugs. They want to legalize abortion. They want to legalize and make divorce no fault. They want to double mastectomy girls. They want to give monkeypox vaccine without parental consent. They want pedophilia. These people are attacking the only source of power that we have, our moral, spiritual power. We must fight these people in the spirit realm and how we live and treat one another. They would leave us the hell alone if we had ourselves together. But if we're weak, if there's a crack in our wall and our foundation, if we put some putty, some LGBT putty or some feminist putty, cement in our foundation, the building will fall. These values, these ideas are like termites on a house made out of cedar. We have to decide to either get rid of the termites or for the house to fall in on our heads.
Real talk. American, I see you had a question.
Thank you, Dwan. Hello to the room. No, I don't have a question. I just have something to say really quick. I'm 100% with y'all. I don't think that trans women should speak for um, natural born, quote unquote, Black American women, as a Black American woman. I think that threw off the conversation because they know what they're doing. They knew that, and I think they should have put that on there. That hey, this is TS and then her name, so we can know because she has, or the trans woman has a different experience than us Black American women. So I felt very disrespected when I saw that. I laughed and it was so funny when you said that. You were 100% right, and they knew that, and they purposely did that. And I don't even know if CNG knew that that was a man because she had said things as well about that. But that's another hand. I'm not gonna go into all that.
On break,
Um,
she was complimenting how pretty she thought she was. She had no
I
clue.
thought, and I ain't to be funny, I did too. Until I'm like, hold on, let me look this lady up because they did that the last time. I think you were on there, or one of you guys were on there. Somebody that we know that was on there, and it was a trans woman, and they did that the time before. Um, so with that being said, yeah, we need to point it out and stop these agendas because they're pushing a lot of mess on us. And everybody rides our back because we are that. We are in the running to the next type model. And the model before was us, and the one before that, and the ones coming after is going to always be us. And we set the culture. We set the pinpoint on which way to go and which way not to go. And we're not going to allow this. So I'm 100% with you guys. And heck yeah, we need our men to stand up with that, and then we're gonna back it, or vice versa. We can stand up and say something, and you guys back us. That's not fair, and they know that. Those are two different sets of women, quote unquote. Let me say that. Two different, and they know that. And for them to do that, that was very, very hateful. Thank you.
Thank you. And I want to say one thing before I get back to Dr. Short. It looks like he got bounced out the room. So when he comes back in, we'll invite him back up to speak. But I want one thing to say, just Fox Soul. I've been on Fox Soul, I think 5 times now. When I want to take because Dr. Short said something about how much they hate women and want to take black women out. Hold on a second. Dr. Short.
Where they cut up black women.
Hold on, Dr. Short. They what I want to point out is one fact about them that I noticed. They my first time on Fox Soul, they were talking about black women. Are black women it was a subject about being black. I forgot the title. But they had a black woman that was born, an English black woman who had a British father and a black dad as the host, and on the panel they had a black woman who was also mixed with Chinese. They had no pure black women on there speaking for black women. And then the second time I went on there, they had another tragic mulatto on there speaking for black women. and a lesbian speaking for black women. And then this last time, they gonna bring in Cynthia G. Anybody on the internet knows Cynthia G and what she's about and the degeneracy that she speaks. You know what she's gonna bring. And then the other black woman is a trans, is a dude, somebody who was born with a nutsack. Speaking, that's how they know how Ice Cube said, here's what they think about you. This is what feminism has brought, and this pro-democrat, pro-liberal agenda. You have something that appears to be black, but the minute it's time to speak up for a black woman, you got somebody that was born with a nutsack and Cynthia G. Here's what they think about you. Go ahead, Dr. Short. They was, let me see here. I don't know. Is he having more of those phone issues? Me and Dr. Short both having a shitload of phone issues. Nikki too. Nikki can't even speak.
Hello?
There you go. There you go.
Okay. They hate black women. They've experimented on black women. Whether it's Henrietta Lacks or Dr. Sims, they're doing this. In fact, that book, the real Anthony Fauci, how they were killing black women with AIDS drugs tests. This is what this man Fauci's done. And so they've been using black women are the portal from the Most High for life on this planet. These people hate life. Therefore, they must hate the black woman. And they must also hate the black man because together they make the original people. The black woman is being targeted. And what they've done is usurped and made it almost impossible for the black man to stand up. And then presented the black woman, this white male on television, father knows best, or cracker knows best, and zaddyism, that the white dudes, JR, they have the big house, and say having the big house and all the money is a real man, denied the black man the ability to be a man based on the image that's put from lie vision to women, and then to destroy our women on every level, to attack their hair, to attack their buttocks, to make them uncomfortable about their skin. There's been an aesthetic, psychological attack on black women from day one. And a lot of our sisters who've been seduced by feminism and other things have taken their guard down, thinking that they have a sisterhood with the woman's auxiliary of the Ku Klux Klan called radical lesbian feminism. And so as a result, they hate black women. Why is it when they talk about abortion, they had to make it a black woman issue? Now, it's always a black woman issue. It's never a white woman issue. Do you get where I'm coming from? When black women are missing, when black women are disproportionately human trafficked, when black women are disproportionately raped in the military, notice how they won't do anything about rape in the military, and black women, about 40% of the women in the military that are female, and that they're going to put men in the women's showers in the military. You're understanding this, and they're going to put men in the women's prisons, that black women are being targeted for all kinds of awful things. And in reality, I'm going to say this. The only one key answer that has to happen is that I'm going to say this. Black men have to stop being bitches. One of the biggest problems is that we're catty and bitchy towards one another. We act like the world's going to run out of pussy. We have to cut each other's throats. And at the same time, we don't like half the people the pussy that we've been with. We have to stop being bitches and have as much concern or respect. I'm not talking about a man's butthole or his nutsack or his penis, but to want his baby to survive if it goes to the hospital, to want his baby to get a good education, to want his baby to have nutritious food and not live in a food desert, to want him to have safe drinking water, to want them to have a job with dignity, to want them to live in a house fit for human habitation. I need to be a lover of manhood, not carnally, but philosophically and economically and socially and culturally. I need to care about the next guy because we form a military unit to protect our women and children. As long as I like all other men except for black men, because those men don't run after women, our women, like we do. We have to stop. In fact, it's a norm for black men to hate each other. We kill each other openly. And the most visible way is not that they don't kill us systematically, institutionally, and structurally. We openly hate each other gangs and everything else, and it's normal. And in fact, they call it heterosexuality, but are they heterosexual when they rape each other in prison? I don't think so. Are they heterosexual when they're gay rappers? I don't think so. We've got to have the kind of manhood that builds up and esteems manhood instead of emasculating every man you see and ripping off every woman you see. We get upset about the bitterness that we encounter from a lot of our women, but they've been getting raped since they were 2 years old. We don't protect them. We let everybody rip them up, and they're supposed to walk around like, was it a Girl Scout selling cookies after she's been ripped all their life. We have to protect our women so they're innocent as they want to be, as wise as they need to be, and as beautiful as they were already made to be. And then we have to protect each other and not be mad. It amazes me that you can go into a club and there's a dude hating on another man for talking to a woman. Doesn't that sound faggoty to you? Why does he care if a man's with a good woman? It's like he wants a dude, or you just don't want him to have anybody. We must get rid of our internalized jealousy and horizontal violence and hatred man to man. Because you know what? These Mexicans, they stick together. Every other group of men come to America and learn how to form teams. We get here and we act like ball hogs on steroids that we don't need anybody else. And by the way, when we men are divided, we're scattered, then we leave our women and children to be destroyed by the feminists, by the racists, by the Nazis, by the killer cops, by the little nasty Arabs that have sex for food in these stores. It's our fault. Damn it, we need to own it. If we lead, let us lead and being unified. Let us lead in taking over what we can. You mean to tell me these ugly, squat folks from Central America who can come into an area and take it over in 5-10 years have more than we've got? What they do have is that they at least value the next person because there's another male that's Spanish speaking. We have all this stuff in common, 400 years, and can't find a fucking way to coalesce. And I'll say this, and I don't care who doesn't like it. Why is it that the gay black men can have Black Gay Pride Week or month every year across the country in multiple cities around sucking dicks? And we can't do it for reparations and our survival and the protection of our women and babies.
That's real talk, though. They really do get to have those rallies. I see them on Halloween out here in West Hollywood. And they be doing all kind of degenerate shit out there in the streets, openly and proud. But when it comes time for us to rally, we can't get a permit. That's why I want to salute to everybody that's out there that's going to be doing their pull-ups. Salute to everybody out there that's part of that. Thank y'all for your contribution. Because, man, this is like music. Everybody got to play their part. You know what I mean? You can teach life, you can teach music. You can't have a drummer trying to play the bass. You can't have a bass player trying to play the trumpet. Everybody got to play their part. And some people's part is more visible. Other people's part is low key. Some of you, like, we couldn't do this without Just Eve, someone who's there to organize a GoFundMe for our brother Ogun's spirit. You know what I mean? We can't do this without Michael Wharton, that's somebody who's always willing to record what's going on in the archive, everything that's said in the New Black Media. So if YouTube ever pulls the plug, you can always go to our brother Michael Wharton, and he got everything archived. We can't do this without that. We can't do this without people like Star and Quan and the people in the chat room, T Dynamite, that's always there to retweet, that's always there to repost something that's needed. Everybody has a part. So if everybody plays it, we'll be good. I want to reset the room, Dr. Short, because we began talking on this degenerate tadpole-looking queen that passed away. What do you think is going to happen with her inbred son, little Charles? What's going to go on with Charles
and his whore wife? This thing on Diana is going to come back up. I believe that the son is going to have a breakdown when his dad is king. Looking at that whore that was sleeping behind his mama's back as queen, how is he going to process that? If your mother was murdered by your father, and the woman that he was tipping with behind their back, he married, and then he became head of West Angeles Church of God in Christ, wouldn't you want to leave town or have a meltdown, or you'd be getting drunk saying, he ain't shit, my father's right? How long before that dude goes to Oprah and just does an exclusive because he's having problems? You know, when families have these kind of scandals and secrets and the kids are suffering in pain, like Michael Jordan, whose dad raped his sister, and how the sisters had a meltdown. She can't go along with that nigga doing the underwear commercials because he took hers off. When you have this kind of thing, people, a lot of folk can't fake it. And he's with that crazy high yellow bitch that's greedy. You know she's going to want to sell rights to that, make a movie off of it. He's going to snap. I believe the family's going to start fighting and folks will start leaking stuff out. A lot of people who miss Diana are going to be talking about Camilla. It's going to be rough. Philip also is corrupt. He's done all kinds of things, used his family status to get business deals and things that he shouldn't have. This is known. This is going to come back up. See, they respect his mother, you know, the lizard queen, but they don't respect him. Okay. And it's going to be messy. I'm just telling you. Plus, he's already old and dried up and used up, been with everybody. It's going to come out, and there are going to be more movies. Look, there's still people, they even gay folk like, what's his name, from Elton John, who are mad about the murder of Princess Diana, and they know that Charles had something to do with it. That stuff's going to come back up. He won't be able to get away from it. And unlike his mother, who didn't get the same sort of hard treatment from the British press, which does rip people's ass, not like the American press that will let this little pedophile, crackhead degenerate named Hunter Biden run free. It's not quite like that in England. Their media is savage. They're going to be in his behind. They're going to be in his behind like a jackrabbit. And it's going to be rough on him, just the Diana thing alone. On top of that, the rivalry between the two sons. You know that Meghan Markle's son is fifth in line to be king. And don't be surprised if they don't try to do something to him because he's dangerous. He's fifth in line. But the only thing is if they get him, then his son is fifth in line, Archie. So, you know, this happens in royal families where folks like take each other out and hurt one another. All you have to do is
like he licks windows. You don't want to hear about this shit.
Yeah, they don't. I'm just saying to you, has this happened before in British history? Yes. Go back and look at the dynasty that my family comes from, the Plantagenet, aka the Lancasters, and how everybody was killing each other, fighting, and the families killing each other over who gets to be in charge. Does that stuff happen? It happened in North Korea. That dude had his brother killed overseas. These people end up having fights within their own cloistered elite groups. On top of that, I think that Prince Philip is less anti-Black on a certain level than his mom. That's going to make the white Britons not like him either. And then the hypocrisy is you're less anti-Black, but you still had that Black baby killed inside your wife. So, dude, you fake. It's going to be circular. The Diana thing is going to hang on him, just like the two men that killed Emmett Till. They didn't spend a minute in jail, but everywhere they went after they killed Emmett Till, even the white people rejected them. Those men died relatively early. That's why you see this old bitch, Bryant. She's by herself. But all those other people are dead. They didn't last. It's interesting. The white people didn't forgive the people for killing Emmett Till. We're the only people that forgive everybody but ourselves. That's why you always see these fake Republican, evangelical niggas or whatever forgiving white people for everything when they haven't stopped. That's like forgiving a rapist when he's getting his nut on. I mean, at least let him discharge first. I mean, they're not going to forgive. These are white people. White folks don't forgive or forget anything, all the while telling us, well, that's in the past. Y'all should get off of that. That's what I'm saying. They're not the people that are mad. They're folk who like the Queen. But if you look in the polls, a lot of British people want to get rid of the monarchy. They don't like it. It's highly unpopular. In particular, a significant number of British people, or I should say people that live in the United Kingdom, are Irish and Scottish who don't like the Queen. They don't like the royal family. They were conquered and basically made slaves. The English term for slaves is villein. They were villein up until 1772. So, I mean, they just got free 90 years before Black Americans did. And it's nominal freedom. Nominal freedom for them, too. They didn't get the right to vote until the 1800s. About like a little bit before us. The British class system is quite savage. It's quite fierce. And there's a growing number of people in Britain who are not white. And some of them aren't necessarily into the Queen or the royal family. And that's with most people not knowing how rich those people are and how subsidized they are. I mean, why do they need money when they have all these palaces and gold carriages and you need people's tax money? So I think it will be tough on him. And this is the first time he's really gotten any attention since he married Diana in 79, 78. And you know what? Diana's going to be there when they coronate him. It's going to come up all over again. They're going to talk more about Diana than anything else. And so, not that I'm caught up in Diana, but, you know, if he'll kill his own wife, God have mercy how they feel about we black people.
It's good you bring that up because for those who weren't around in the 80s, Princess Diana was almost as famous as Michael Jackson. She was as famous as fame can get. She was just one of those. She was up there. She was ahead of Donald Trump when it came to fame. She was just the world's little darling. And so, if there's still people right now who are in their 50s and 60s and late 40s who grew up adoring that woman, who they gonna treat that like the way they did R. Kelly. If it comes down to it, they're gonna have a Living with Prince Charles goddamn expose on ABC if they think it'll make them enough money. So what we have going, and the reason why we're having this discussion and talking about England, because there's people in here that may be asking, you know, we foundational Black Americans, we delineate. Why are we talking about these white folks? Here's the reason why we're talking about that. Because at the end of the day, we live in this world. And we live in a world that these are the people who control the monetary systems of where we live. And oftentimes we have to interact with these people. So the better we know who our enemy is and how they operate amongst each other, the more educated we can be on how we approach these people. Black people coming to these folks emotionally. When you hear how they treat one another, you understand in depth why going at them with an emotional rant, talking about how you feel don't mean shit. You think they give a half of a fuck about a feeling when they slit their own brother's throat, when they kill their own grandbaby? No. You got to come at these people with straight up information. You got to stand on your square and you got to push forward because they don't respect weakness. They don't respect none of the shit because they degenerates with each other long before they became degenerates with us. I see you got your hand up, Sister Child, then I'm going to get back to Dr. Short.
No, I just wanted to say, just please listen to. I'm kind of like on a delay in terms of the fire that was being spitted, but when he touched on the point of what our men need to do in terms of our decorum or your decorum in terms of the Black woman and how it's being juxtaposed and hijacked with feminism and what he classifies as pork chop feminists. As a woman, I must stand down because I think everything that he said was much more important than anything that I can say. And I just hope that you guys are understanding, and even the women in the room, how this it's a strategic assault. It's a strategic war against our men. And he's saying it in his way, and I'm going to say it in my way. We have got to be in tune to what is detrimental to us. It has nothing to do with family. It's not family oriented. It's not spiritually oriented. It's just out of order. And just critically think your way through to what we need to be doing as women, and think about what he said, what you all need to be doing as men. Once we understand what we're up against, I think we will be successful. Everybody is not going to make it, but that was profound to me. And I wanted to point out, definitely as a man, what he said. It's been about like 3 conversations ago now, so I'm kind of late. But really hone into that, play back the recording, or whatever you have to do. Because I want you all, as our men, you are our future. We need you to understand. Like, we're a little bit older and everything, but the reason why we're here, we need you to understand. So that's all what I wanted to kind of say. And I was going to continue. Give props to Dr. Short. Hit him on his Cash App, $ Dr. Randy Short. It's easy. And I land right there.
So, yeah, Doctor. Thank you for that. Yeah, Dr. Short. It looks like he's been kicked out again, but he's trying to get back online. Um, but that's why we're talking about what we're talking about here. Is when it comes down to it, these white folks are the ones that run the monetary system that we're in. So it's sometimes good to take a peek at what's going on in their world. And what's going on in their world right now is a lot of infighting. There's more of that to come. We just got to look around. When we see what's going on with these Trump white folks, they're not giving it up. Like, no matter no matter, you see the Republican Party publicly distancing themselves from Trump. And these Trump white folks ain't giving it up. And one thing about white people, they've been fighting each other way longer than they've been fighting us. These are the Visigoths. These are the Vandals. These are the Saxons. These are the Vikings. These are the people who just look up the Hellenistic period. Look up any time in their history they weren't one thousandth of the way civilized by either the Greeks or the Romans or the Moors. Without them three civilizations, even during them civilizations, the Romans used to have to pay the Visigoths to stay on the outskirts of Rome and to not come in and ravage shit. They basically used to get welfare to not come in and fuck up Rome. And then when Rome ran out of money to stop paying the Visigoths to stand down, they came in and sacked that empire. That's who these people are. That's who we're dealing with. And we got to always know emotional arguments. Shit, am I still there? I'm over here having connections too. Especially we dealing with these people come with these emotional arguments talking about how racism makes me feel. We got to stop letting them people speak. The minute somebody comes in talking about their feelings, we got to be the ones to be like, hey, okay, hold on, partner. We're not here to. I understand you got feelings, but that's what therapy's for. We got to focus on what it is. So we got to stop letting everybody speak. That's another thing. And we've seen it a lot in Twitter Spaces. This go awry in different ways. And if you want to speak, hit the invite. Request to speak if you want. What's up, Sonny? What's up, B Zilla? Nice. If you want to speak, raise your hand. But we see what's been going on when you allow everyone to speak. There's some people who just look in this shit looking for attention. We got people like Dr. Randy you around fool. You know what I mean? So we gotta make sure um, that we just fall in line. With the code. Because you see what they doing to us. You see what they did to me on Fox Soul. They put a damn tranny up there speaking for black women. We ain't got no friends. But if we stay on code with each other, we all we need. You dig what I'm saying? Um, I'm not sure if Dr. Short's gonna be ready to come back in. We've been here for a while anyway. Y'all should be following me on YouTube, Dwan B. Dwan space the letter B. My new book is out. Tell It Like It Is, The Art of Loving Communication. It'll be up on breakthroughas.org and hotepish.com next week. It'll be up for direct ebook download on hotepish.com next week because we talk about keeping a black family together, but you ain't gonna keep no family together if people don't know how to talk to each other. My gift, my specialty is in communication and solving communication challenges. So I wrote a book, and it's not a long book, only 67 pages, but it's a guidebook to help you learn how to talk to people with some damn sense. Um, and I will be having on my Patreon. I will be doing private classes. I talk about it on my YouTube channel, but I'll be doing small classes on Patreon to where you can really dig in and get into this and communicate our way through our issues. 'Cause that's what it's gonna take. We ain't. What they do is when they want to take out a group of people. Dr. Short is back. When they want to take out a group of people, the first thing they do in war is disrupt their lines of communication. We here on Twitter Spaces and YouTube, we have lines of communication that people like DrRandyShort and me and the people in here use for the proper way. This is supposed to be some shit that we supposed to be watching midgets race dwarfs. We supposed to be watching midget wrestling on YouTube. That's what this is designed for. YouTube is designed to watch us look at female rappers with one big titty and one little titty do goofy shit. That's what they want us to use YouTube and Twitter space for. But we ain't using it for that. We using it for constructive means. And so this communication is everything, y'all. But Dr. Short is back. I'm gonna shut my ass up.
Brother Dwan, that my Wi-Fi went out. I'm sorry. My Wi-Fi all of a sudden went off. I had to reset it. Okay.
It's
And
all
huh?
it's all good. We're talking about the that whack ass queen and Prince Charles. What do you think is gonna happen with Jamaica now with that funny looking Prince Charles taking office?
And you know, I think he has a toupee. In fact, it looks better than a lot of weave I've seen here in DC. I'd like to know who's making that for him. Now, can you imagine him? What he
He
looked
looks
like?
like I don't like him because he looks like a shaved dick.
Yeah, he does look. He looks like a tall Dr. Evil. I mean, he needs to be in the next Austin Powers sequel.
He looks
Um,
like Ash G's. Remember AskG's.com back in 2000?
no, I don't know him. You know, I'm old. I don't know the stuff you do as a younger person. I keep up. I'm okay, but I'm not like y'all. Y'all got to speak. Okay, I'm almost 60, so some things I don't know. Okay, and I don't claim to know, so you can school me. No, look, folks, they don't want us having it together. Let me tell you, people tried to throw me out of school in Virginia in 2003. I'm sorry, not 2003, in 1993, because I got all the black students together to just talk to each other. And they sent around a thing to tell students don't talk to me if they wanted their scholarship. I didn't recommend anything other than people respect one another. Believe it or not, Dwan, no guns, no slurs against white people, anybody, just black folk respect and be kind to each other. And the reason I found out that all the younger people, undergraduates in the history department, a Jewish professor named Dr. Ballo, who's supposed to be the friends to the blacks, had a meeting with them and told them how dangerous and bad I was and how if they want to finish school, don't be seen talking to me. And I'm thinking, all I said was that we could be better towards each other. We don't have to tear each other up. And there was a little lesbian teacher who was black, a feminist, a pork chop feminist, went back and told people that I was stirring up stuff. And all I was saying was that we could be kinder to each other. We could help each other study. We could walk sisters at the dark so nobody got assaulted or raped by anybody. And it's a woman attacking me for thinking our sisters should be safe. See, a lot of these lesbians like when women get hurt and ripped up so they can go and tell them how bad all men are. One rapist is not men as a collective. It's one wicked man worthy of death, not every single solitary male. And so their fear of us knowing who we are, loving who we are, and defending and protecting and spending our money and so forth. So again, I want to thank y'all for giving to Brother Logan's GoFundMe. And I want to remind everybody to bless Brother Dwan and bless me too. I thank all 4 people that blessed me and Dr. DrRandy, RandyShort at GoFundMe, or if they PayPal me, which is DrRandyShort@gmail.com. And I want to remind folks, I'm going to go back. I've got to get it done in the next day or so and start going back to doing my Angry Black Men's Book Club. They got so mad that thousands of people were learning about this bullshit Fauci was pulling and other things. And they just took my channel down. So I'm going to go other than YouTube. I'll go to Rumble and whatever and just keep my content. And I thank Brother Dwan and not just Brother Dwan, Sister Jade, Sister Sean, and Sister Haley in Chicago for telling me about Twitter Spaces. You know, I don't mind social media. I don't follow it like other people, but we're going to be talking about this stuff. But I want to say this about Jamaica and the coon, high yellow sellout, Union Jack, no good sellout niggas in the Caribbean. I'm talking about the leadership, not the rank and file people. When the hurricanes hit Jamaica, and when people get destroyed in Trenchtown and Tivoli and poor communities in Jamaica, or when the United States sets up trade agreements where Jamaican agriculture is destroyed, where the people have to pay for overpriced food and genetically modified food from America that causes health problems there, the same fucked up Jamaican and Caribbean elite set and accept these deals for their own people to be destroyed, as long as they're rich and they can have interracial sex and travel and get visas to go other places. They don't care when a mudslide kills people, or when Jamaica, which may have a 3 million people. If it has that many, I'd be surprised. But they may have 3,000 murders a year in Jamaica. Did y'all know that? Huge amount of murders. And that's for the poor, dark-skinned Jamaicans. And they have a high rate of murder in Trinidad and a high rate of murder in Guyana. And the Asians and the Jews and the Hayelas and the fortunate darker-skinned Jamaicans who don't identify with the other dark-skinned ones at the bottom, they're called the sufferers, or the Jamaican slang for broke-ass Jamaicans is born for dead. It means born before they were dead, or dead before they died, or they died when they were born. Whatever it means, it basically means that you're a waste. That's what they call them, born for dead, born for death. And then these same people want to claim that they created hip hop. Next thing you'll know, they'll say that they started the civil rights movement. I'm wondering how. By not eating mango ice cream at a segregated store. I mean, whatever. It's ridiculous. And by the way, I love mangoes. I have a whole bag of dried mango right next to me. But come on, we need to stop doing this. And this queen didn't do anything for Black people. I'm not celebrating her death. And at the same time, you know, you'd have to buy me some tears. Because, you know, 96, that's a good long ass time. What about the people that are going to die tonight that go to bed hungry in Jamaica or in Port of Spain or in Georgetown or in all the other British possessions there? Or what about the ones hungry in Nigeria and other places? So please, y'all. And those folks having 12 days of mourning, they don't have 12 days of mourning when they have a typhoon hit Haiti. They don't have 12 days of mourning when these things happen. No, they don't. So, but a white woman dies. Now it matters. Do you know back about 2010, there was a Jamaican gangster named Dudas. Dudas was, I think, extradited from Jamaica to the United States. And the broke kids who got like walking around money from this drug kingpin rioted. The Jamaican police massacred people down there. You won't hear about it. Yeah, they did. They just killed people. And they just kill people in Jamaica. That's what their leadership class just kills or starves or does nothing. And I want to say something to you. This goes all the way back. Goes all the way back almost 200 years. 190 years ago, they started what's called the apprenticeship period, where the people who were enslaved in the British Caribbean were supposed to be freed between 1831 and 1836. And the way that the kings and queens and others who ruled and ran and managed the plantations there to punish the Black people in Jamaica for getting their freedom, they decided to no longer really invest in doing anything. And the only way that the Jamaican people could make it is to basically go to Panama or go to other places in the world, because they were not allowed to survive, because they had a high yellow boule sellout elite that had gotten their money from either DNA or being lovers to white absentee landlords. And the whites that were there literally did nothing. So those folks had to leave to prevent themselves from starving. Talk to some real Jamaicans that are honest, and they'll tell you that a lot of them have what's called barrel kids. Barrel. Why? Because they get plastic containers, barrels, and put food and clothes in it and ship it down there. That's the only way that those people survive. Real talk.
That's some real talk, Dr. Randy Short. I'm getting ready to wrap the room up. We both have connection issues. Close out, say whatever it is you need to say in closing, and then we're gonna let everybody get on and do what they do.
Well, I'm going to do what Sister Sean tells me. Brothers and sisters, see how they mess with Brother Dwan and my communication. The only answer is that we have to have other ways to communicate. How can this be facilitated? If you want to hear voices like mine, is invest in people that are telling, educating, and sharing the truth. It doesn't take a whole lot. But if we had subscribers of people that patronized us better, we could do more. How can you help me? I have donation opportunities. I have a Cash App, which is DrRandyShort. That's on Cash App, DrRandyShort. My PayPal or Zelle is WRandyShort@gmail.com. If you wish to write or communicate with me, I'm here on Twitter. That is DRS1. That stands for Dr. Randy Short 1. C Buster, capital C. And that's for Coon Buster, C Buster. I'm there. And of course, you can write me by email. And you can look for me at Randy Lancaster Short or Randy Short in Facebook. I'm Dr. Randy Short in Instagram. If you look me up, I'm there. But at the same time, stay in touch. We got to go back to our books. And I want to say this. I don't hate the Queen. I don't hate anybody. I don't wish death on anybody except for predators, pedophiles, and folks that hurt women and babies and do stuff that's abominable to the Most High God. But we need to shed some tears for ourselves, for baby Micah. God bless everybody that gave. That is a real cause. That is the Queen is gone. The Messiah, Mashiach, Yeshua said, let the dead bury the dead. Let the dead bury her. But let those of us who live fight for those that are yet living and those who are not yet born. And I want to say this, Sister Eve and others, I'm going to do what I can do. And I want to say to everybody else, every fighter like Dwan, who's not rich in Maseratis, drinking cocktails with white strippers with small booties, we need your help. Help us do what we're doing. Every little bit helps. Some of us have thousands of followers. If each of them put $2 on us in a month, my God, we could do stuff full time. This interruption of our program happens to me all the time. Brother Dwan changed the name of the program. I'm not supposed to be on Twitter for speaking out against those white lesbians called the Hearts killing 6 black babies in 2018. So just putting my name on Twitter sets off an alert in their system. And I'm no big person. There are other people, they're on Twitter and everywhere else, and they never get shut down. They don't get censored. They don't get stopped. Be very suspicious of people who always get so many followers and they have no problem. And then ask yourself, why is someone like me with no more than, with this new Twitter account, maybe 100 people that follow me, why they need to watch me and block Dwan so hard? And then there are other people with hundreds of thousands of followers and there's no opposition. They must not be giving you something. And we have to start learning how to look for truth tellers and look for truth and look for people that are at least being sincere. It may not come to you. You have to become thirsty and hungry for truth-telling, honest people, because the famine in this land isn't for food with all these folks with bad blood cholesterol. The real famine is for truth and for righteousness. Get hungry and make certain that you find a real cook like Chef C. Find real people that are trying to bring you what they know to be true. None of us is perfect, but many times we have perfect messages, but we're imperfect people. I stole that from Dwan. I'm not perfect. However, I'm sincere. And I think everybody listening to this is. And by the way, my friends, I want to tell you something. As much as I don't like them, I have to tell you that the Chinese Communist Party, which is the strongest entity on this planet aside from the Vatican, started with 18 people. 18 people created the Chinese Communist Party. And you can look at every major social movement of people around the world. It never starts with the majority. It starts with an absolute highly motivated, intelligent minority within a multi-minority. There are enough people, you listening, some of you are the Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. You're greater. Those of you that are under my age, I'm 57, I'll be 58 in February. I don't know. I might be able to be a mentor to you. I'm not as deep as Claude Anderson or some of these other people, but sometimes I can be. Check me out. I might be able to advise you here or there. I can't claim to know it all, but we have to build each other up. But I'm telling you, some of you are the change agents. You are the power of one. That you're the Moses. You're the Patrice Lumumba. You're the Toussaint Louverture and the Jean-Jacques Dessalines. You guys are it. You're the John Horse for the Seminole. Some of you are greater than those people who are ancestors. And it only takes a few. Nat Turner, my ancestor, only had 3 other people. He's been dead 191 years. And they still can't acknowledge that he ever existed. That's how much a few of us frighten the people who hate our guts. We can do more. We have to love self, protect self, invest in self, and not let anybody mess with us. And we have to be clear. Only a fly wants to be united with shit. If they can't get on your code, they can't get to where you are in terms of consciousness. Spend your time on the people that get it. The other folks will come along later. That's all I have to say. Bless me and bless Brother Dwan, and thank you for caring about baby Micah. And for all of you that are religious, that are Christian, look me up. Our fellowship is called SALT, Salvation and Liberation Temple. We're a small group of activists who have turned our backs on the traditional sellout nigger preacher churches. They're just, I tell you, that's another shit that just messes me up thinking about these people. And we have to have one other thing. We have to acknowledge that we have traitors who betray us every day. Everything that's happening to us, there are people amongst us who are complicit in allowing this to happen. If we can root them out, the other people could never hold us down. Know who you are, know whose you are, and at least have an idea of where you want to be, because it'll matter where you end up. God bless you.
Thank you, Dr. Randy. Hotepish.com for my Black Music Family Tree, my t-shirts. Black people don't owe anybody anything but an ass whooping. Get that t-shirt right now. IncenseandAshtrays.com, where we break down the music. YouTube. Yeah, I'm on the Comedy Press on the Caffeine app every Tuesday from 2:30 to 3:30. And on YouTube just randomly whenever I feel like going live. Sometime in the morning, sometime at night. Holla at me. Thank y'all for listening.